San Diego, as you can see. And this is a picture that shows the skyline, of course, across the harbor, taken from the airport. And so I live to the right of the green lights there. And that's an area called Seaport Village. Okay, James Moss, Curzon Central, and this is called Curzon Comets. And this is a talk show for a few minutes, a dialogue about what's going on in New York City real estate, and a little bit about relocation, what's going on in London, real estate, and a little bit of relocation. And here's James Moss, CEO
Hey,
of Curzon Central.
just great to be doing another Curzon Comments with you.
This is number
Uh,
three, number three, three,
number three. I think,
3.0. Yeah.
and before the end of the year, as we head into the holidays, which
Mhm.
is fantastic. I see you have a seasonal cup there, which is very apt for the occasion.
Yes, I
Um,
put lots of things in that cup.
yeah. So yeah, I thought we'd have just a quick chat and run through end of year, what the state of play is, and we've been traveling around a bit and in some of our new markets, which are opening up, which is great. Out on the West Coast, which was fascinating the other day. Um,
Tell
yeah,
me
and,
more about that.
yeah. Well, it was an interesting trip actually. It was actually going out there to do a few personal things. But as ever with me, nothing is personal, everything is business related as well. And it was absolutely fascinating in Los Angeles. Looking at the markets and looking, just sort of reminding myself. I mean, you'll know this really well, how Los Angeles works. And Los Angeles is spread out all over the place. And what was fascinating, what I found fascinating is that you spend a lot of time on the freeways there. Even if you're just going from, if you're going from downtown LA to Santa Monica, um, and out that way, Beverly Hills and so on, and then all the way over to Venice Beach, which is one of the things I did via the Getty Center, which is just simply fantastic. There's just a hell of a lot of logistics. And I was chatting to friends and young friends who live out there. And the thing that they were emphasizing, which is true of a lot of cities, is that you've got to really nail down the neighborhood you like is going to work for you best. And that really, that underpins sort of everything that we do on the relocation side in New York, in London, and in other locations. But it's just that LA is so spread out. It really brought it home, how essential it is to get that right. And we had
So,
a
so
couple
the issue
reload
is,
guys up
yes,
there.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, let's circle back in just a second. So, LA Metro goes for 100 miles in many directions. Okay, and so you need to focus in on it's specifically what you want, what will work for you. So there's certain cores. So one core is um, 30 miles south in Irvine. Now, that is specifically in Orange County, but it's all LA Metro. Southern California is really what we're talking about because LA is the engine, not necessarily downtown LA, but the whole thing because 20 miles away is LAX, the airport, and adjacent to LAX, uh, as the crow flies, adjacent,
yeah,
it's not
yeah. Sure,
not
sure.
next door. Nothing's next door. I mean, everything's a distance. But next door to LAX is Malibu, is Santa Monica, and Silicon Beach, which you called Venice
Yes,
Beach.
yes,
Okay.
indeed.
Now it's Silicon Beach, which means it's Silicon Valley South. And that started around 10 years ago, maybe more, because Silicon Valley companies, which is a 1 hour plane ride, are about 400, 500 miles north. They had a hell of a problem relocating people from LA Metro to want to move up to Silicon Valley. Nobody wanted to move up there. Who cares?
No,
But
no, no.
so they all opened up in Southern California, and where they went is LAX, and just west of that is Marina del Rey, and
Marina del Rey,
to
indeed.
that
Yeah,
next to
the
that
famous Marina.
is
Yeah,
Venice Beach. So the
yeah.
whole area now is called Silicon Beach.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize.
Okay. And
Oh,
that is ground zero for tech. Now, there's tech everywhere. Okay. But that is like one building after another, one street after another. It's all tech.
well, it's really interesting you say that because the friends I was staying with are tech people. They're sort of in their late 30s, I would say. They're lawyers by profession and working both a couple. They're working with fairly major, actually, tech companies that specialize in things like cybersecurity and stuff like that. And quite a lot of our clients and a lot of third parties we work that are tech. I mean, we do a lot with startups and young technology companies because they love our technology. They love the app and they haven't got any baggage and stuff like that. And you're absolutely right. There's this really interesting cluster all around, as we now call it, Silicon Beach. The other thing that's interesting is is the mix of the entertainment world and tech world sort of coming together. And I think what you're saying there, and again what they were saying to me, is that there has really been this very sizable, I wouldn't say shift, but movement of tech that's sort of branching out from San Francisco going south down to Southern California. And I think that's a great dynamic.
And continues south to where I am today in San Diego, which is 130 miles south along I-5 along the coast into where I am in downtown 92101. Okay. And so San Diego is extremely high tech and biotech, and with Qualcomm here and a lot of other companies. It is a huge market. San Diego is, particularly in biotech and everything to do with Qualcomm. Okay, so where you were and what's happening in we'll call LA Metro. Okay, um,
Yes,
so the entertainment industry has been here 100 years. So there, I mean, but
sure.
when I relocated myself and my business from Boston to Beverly Hills. Uh, that was in 1980. And the LA Chamber of Commerce and the LA Economic Development Corporation became my partners in a venture that I started and funded called California Bound Professional Relocation Guides. Okay. And so we'll get into that another time. But where I lived at that time upon arrival was in an apartment, a large apartment, with wife and daughter, and that was in Beverly Hills, on the corner of Beverly Boulevard and Little Santa Monica Boulevard, across, well, just 3 blocks west no, 3 blocks east of Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills, and moved out of there once we launched the magazine and did well enough. We got into the other side of Beverly Hills, along Olympic, right near what is not what used to be called 20th Century Fox back lot, which
Oh
is
yeah,
now called
yeah.
Century City, right?
Yes, yeah,
Okay,
still
and
there.
that's the epicenter, not downtown LA. The epicenter is in Century City. And what's around there? Well, entertainment industry for sure, and everything connected with it. Now it's also
It,
spread out all along Wilshire Boulevard, and then it's going over the mountains into San Fernando Valley and Burbank, next to Burbank Airport, and that's where Disney and Warner Brothers and others, So the labor force and the investments connected with media, entertainment, is all and tech. It's all related. It has been for a long time, and now it's just getting more intense. So uh, it's a huge impact in not just Southern California. I mean, that's the epicenter, but uh, uh, during the strike, which was this past year,
mm, mm,
um, the industry basically shut down, and
yes,
there
mm,
there was more than 1 million people out of work, and all the economic engines were quiet, and it was a major impact. So, welcome to the scene, and it's never ending because it goes on and on and on. And next door to Beverly Hills is UCLA.
yes, that's exactly.
UCLA is giant, and that's on the west side, just down Wilshire Boulevard from Beverly Hills. And on the other side of that is Santa Monica. Okay. And Santa Monica, connected with UCLA and the hospitals, the huge medical center. And this is different than downtown
Mm,
LA, which is, of
yep.
course, impressive in its own right. But that's more of an old time financial center, but also some tech. But it's a lot of law offices and legal and venture money, and a lot of international companies are there.
It's a very spread out place, and it's an incredible ecosystem that sort of cross fertilizes across all those sectors that you've
Mm,
mentioned. And what surprised me a little bit, I hadn't been out there for a few years, actually, quite a few
right,
years.
right. No, it's huge.
Um,
It's huge.
yeah, and everything's just grown.
Yeah,
And centuries.
and the traffic has gotten worse
Yeah, traffic
because
was not great. I mean,
it's
you have to
six
take
miles
yeah,
from
you have
Beverly
to
Hills,
you have to
Century
be
City, into
yeah.
downtown. It could take an hour.
Exactly,
Right,
exactly.
right.
And that was the thing. That was the thing. You just have to figure it out. And you can't think it's not like, New York or London, you hop in the subway and you get on. It just doesn't work like that.
Right.
Um, and the other interesting thing is, people's changing work patterns, Ed. Um, there's a lot more sort of hybrid working going on there. And it seems to be my impression was that that is almost becoming like the new norm. Um, and when you see the way the place is laid out, the way people have to move around, the way the local communities develop, you completely get that. Because otherwise you'd spend probably most of your life sitting in a car trying to get from A to B. Anyway,
It is amazing. So,
yeah, it's
um,
great getting back out there. I love that.
so great to have you in California, even just for a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry our paths didn't
No,
quite
no, no.
cross this time. Next time. Next time.
There's
Yeah.
a few million people between where you were and where I am, and 130
Yeah,
miles, and you take the Amtrak train, okay, and it's
yeah.
three hours from
Oh,
San Diego.
golly.
So there's no nonstops, but the train goes pretty fast between the stops. But
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
there's a long way to go to make it as much techie as it can be. Maybe with
yeah,
AI, they'll figure out how to do it better.
yeah. AI will take over everything. Um, we use AI quite a bit actually, and I really like it, but I think it's got to be used in the right way. And it's such a dynamic piece of technology. But the only thing about AI is, once we're on the subject, is that it doesn't get that human connection, you know. And my business, uh, and yours, but certainly mine, is really about the people. It's about, if they're renting or buying property, or investing, or they're doing the relocation thing. It's all about that people connection. And I like AI because it's really helpful in so many ways, but it's not really the way that people really want to work and communicate and live, is my take on it.
So let me ask you a couple of questions about the real estate business right now as we come to year end in Manhattan. Um, Prices on falling, right?
Yeah, they are at the top end, but we're seeing some leveling out, which is interesting. And that is purely a factor of interest rates coming down, cheaper mortgages, although the mortgages are a little bit sort of bouncing back up a bit. You probably saw the Fed came off 25 points this afternoon, which is great news. Um, but the Fed also sent out signals that next year interest rates would come off slower. They'll still be heading south, but they're talking now about two adjustments next year rather than the four. The stock market, which is a totally irrational animal, of course, marked everything down. Despair. I mean, it's so crazy. But I'll tell you what will happen here is over the next few days, and early next week, the market will come back up again. The market constantly knee jerks on stuff like that. Um, but yeah, the New York market, I think in spring of next year, once we get through the winter here, I think with the luck we might see a bit of a bounce. I think there is definitely a little bit of stabilization on the sales side going on at the moment. Luxury high-end stuff, I don't think it's going to shift a great deal. Not not at least in the first part of the year. The market where I'm pretty active and Curzon's pretty active at the moment is on the rental side. And the rents have actually been pretty flat. They're just sort of the average rent in Manhattan is just a hair below 4,000 a month at the moment.
For what size?
Say again, and what size? Oh, well, the average. So you're going from studios to four beds. So I'd say your average sort of two bedder. In say Midtown or yeah, sort of Midtownish area, you're looking at really around about the $4,000 per month mark on that at the moment. I mean, depending the type of building and various other things. So that's sort of where it's hitting at the moment. We've done a number of deals over the autumn, pitching for one beds with professional corporate assignees. I mean, all earning pretty decent money. And we've been bringing those in at round about, I would say, 3.5 to 4 on average. With more senior guys, we're hitting, much bigger numbers than that. But
Interesting.
yeah, but
So,
the stock is there. Good stuff moves quickly, so you have to get in there fast. Um,
so we have
but
about
it's okay.
5 minutes, 5, 6 minutes remaining here. And I would like you to take the microphone now and tell the audience that about Curzon Central. This is called Curzon Comments. And so uh, this is your time to update the audience about Curzon Central.
Yeah, sure, delighted. Well, I think the first thing to say is Curzon Central um, does real estate and does relocation. So we do two things. That's what we do. Um, for the property side, we tend to use Curzon Central as our main brand. And Curzon is well established both in London and in New York. So we tend to run our property business through that, which is our private client business. It's mainly buying for people, but we also do concierge property management, property support for clients who buy and invest in both London and New York. We're tied into all the main portals, so can do all the lettings. We can even sell properties, and we do that from time to time. We're not a mainstream sales agent, but we tend to specialize on referral business into us. It tends to be, people who really want a bit of bespoke input, particularly international people, because we're licensed in the States. We're also British chartered surveyors, which means we're very international in the markets we cover. We do quite a, I say we do quite a lot of work with Middle Eastern clients in London. That's beginning to also happen here in New York. So that's the real estate side. I use the word bespoke because that's really what it is. But that is expanding, particularly in New York City at the moment. And 2025, I think, will be a very active year for Curzon Central on the property side in New York. Um, Curzon property side in London is very much driven by private clients, and we do loads of property management. We manage large buildings, multi-unit, multi-family blocks. We also manage independent units. We also manage small private blocks, if you like, very often very high-end properties, maybe these sort of classic Georgian buildings that you see in these lovely pictures of sort of central London. And we have a long history of dealing with that. Places like Kensington, Chelsea, Knightsbridge. We do loads of Knightsbridge. Um, so that's the property side. I keep my eye on the time here. The relocation side really runs through Curzon Relo. And Curzon Relo works and acts for a number of different clients. Using the technology, using our app-based platform, which is absolutely fantastic and totally secure and totally encrypted, we provide relocation services to quite a wide range of users. So we do companies, but we actually our space is much more SME, startup, technology companies, also private individuals, families, international students. We don't because what we do is very agile, very easy, uh, very cost effective to use. We can go beyond, and we do go beyond the traditional corporate markets. With the corporate clients we work with, they just love our approach. So what we now do, Ed, is we mix both the technology side with the more traditional side, what's called destination services. Um, but what we do now is everyone you can uses the technology. Okay, so the technology, if you're, if you're the managing director or managing partner of a group, large group four company or a law firm or a bank, you use the tech. If you're a graduate Gen Z type of person, you're using the tech. And you know why? Because it's secure, it's a great platform, everyone knows where they're going, and you do the whole thing on a mobile. So that's what Curzon Central Curzon Reload is all about.
Well, that's a tour de force. And thank you
Yeah.
for that whirlwind tour around New York and a little bit of London and Silicon Beach and talking about jolly London. This is great. So, wishing you well. Thank you for Curzon Comments 3.0. Can't wait for number 4.
Well, Ed, thank you very much. Happy holidays, season's greetings. Have a
Cheers.
great break, and we'll catch up in the new year.
Take care. Thank you.
All the best. Ciao.
Thank you.